Hello, welcome to HOD Live. I'm here today with my friend John Newmeyer at Help on Demand, and we have a very special guest today, Andrew Vidockler, who is the Associate Director at Pickens Technical College here in Colorado. So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to a great conversation.
Of course. Hey, Chad. Hey, John. Thanks for having me on today. As you just said, my name is Andrew Vidockler. I'm one of the assistant directors here at Pickens Technical College here in beautiful Aurora, Colorado. Really excited to be on the show today. Just to give a little brief background on the school. We serve about 1,100 students. We provide unsurpassed, equitable career and technical education to the community here in Aurora.
Good. So just as we get started, you know, when I hate to always talk about COVID, but it's been in our world. It's huge in the educational world for you and all of us. So we kind of have a good idea of how this really affected like elementary, middle school, high school, you know, how that's really affected them and their parents and stuff. But how has it made a dramatic difference in your world at a higher learning institution?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that question, John. So essentially, last year was really a COVID year, and just we went through it with everyone else. But we did get a waiver from the governor, so we were essentially the last school to close and really the first school to reopen during those peaks when COVID was really kind of heating up. This year, we are so excited to be back face to face. All our programs are back here face to face. And so we're really excited for what the future brings. We're actually have a vaccine clinic here on site on Friday, giving vaccines to students, to the community, those who are eligible, boosters as well. But really, last year we did remote, we did hybrid, we did in person. We had students at certain points that had to go out on quarantine, programs out on quarantine, and we really did whatever we could to make sure that students had a really high quality career and tech ed experience, even during those points when they had to be at home. We used some of our funding to ensure that students had tools at home. If they were in the barber program, they essentially had mannequins that they could work on at home. For our advanced manufacturing program, we made sure that students had 3D printers they were able to utilize at home. And so we did whatever we could, given the circumstances. But right now, we're just really excited to be back here face to face, and our students are really thriving in these conditions right now. So we're just excited.
That's great. That's awesome. You know, Andrew, you wear a lot of hats. Can you talk a little bit about the work you do there and some of the things that you focus on primarily versus others that are maybe secondary work?
Got it. So here at Pickens, I'm responsible for our diverse learner team, which is our special ed team. They do incredible work serving our students with IEPs and 504s. Also work with our instructional coaches who have a reach across the school. And they make sure that our instructors who come to us from industry are able to provide those instructors the best instructional practices to use with their students in the classroom. 90% of our instructional staff comes from industry. So that means they didn't go to traditional teacher college. They come from, whether they're like master graphic designers or they did phenomenal work in the auto field. They own their own garage. They own their own businesses. They then come and teach for us. So they're really experts in the field. And part of my job is to make sure they have all the skills needed to deliver really high quality career and tech ed education to our students. And just on top of that, some of the other programs I get to work with are our urban landscape and horticulture program, our HVAC program, our graphic design program, our ECE program. We also have Kids Tech here on the campus, which is kind of a a daycare for Aurora Public Schools instructors, and our students get to practice becoming ECE teachers, and they get to do their internship in kids tech. And having spent the bulk of my career in the traditional K-12 world, I think those things definitely differentiate Pickens Technical College from a traditional K-12 school.
So in your background, have you always been in education? Is this something you went to college for yourself? Is it something you kind of grew into because you knew somebody else? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, a great question. And so I feel like the luckiest person on the planet. This is my second year here at Pickens Technical College. I come from the traditional K-12 world. I was previously a co-principal at Wyatt Academy, which is pretty close to where y'all are right now, in the Cole neighborhood of Denver. And I always enjoyed that immersive experience for students where we don't just read about it, we don't just write about it, but we get to immerse ourselves in it and experience it. And so I've always been fascinated by that. When I was teaching in the classroom, we might read about motorcycles, and I would convince a friend who had a motorcycle to come in and show it to the students and show them how it worked. And so always love that opportunity to be hands-on, skills-based learning. And I found myself at Pickens Technical College, and this place is an absolute dream because in every one of our 28 programs, students are hands-on. So they are doing a variety of work on machines. If they're in the horticulture program, their hands are in the dirt, but they just get that opportunity to get that hands-on skills-based learning, which makes Pickens such a special place.
Yeah, so Andrew, the thread of our show here and our discussion is really around technology. So we're very interested in how you leverage technology to, say, collaborate with your students, collaborate maybe with your instructors, everywhere involved in the Pickens tech sphere.
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you so much, Chad. So our instructors this year have launched Canvas. And so Canvas is a learning management system. So all instructors are able to put all their course materials into their Canvas shell. So students have easy access to all those digital materials and files as they move through the course. And so that is something that, truth be told, without the pandemic, without forcing us to do that may not have happened or happened as quickly. So we're really excited about that opportunity. So we have that. We also leverage a variety of different tools. So if you go to our advanced manufacturing classroom, coolest thing, you go in there, you take your phone, you scan your QR code on the specific machine, and you kind of get like a minute tutorial of what exactly the machine does. It gives you key vocabulary that you can use, which is a really helpful tool for our multi-language learning students. So we certainly use those QR codes. We use Remind, which is an app that all our students are signed up on. So if there's ever an emergency or we have to get out important information really quickly, instead of sending it to their email, we know not all our students check email as frequently as perhaps some of the instructors in the building do. They get that information right away. It's an app that comes right to them. And one thing we're really focused on this year is to really figure out how to get hybrid learning right. That's a big thing that came out of the pandemic. There's definitely a deep desire for us to be able to offer hybrid learning. We did it last year because we were kind of thrust into it and we had to. But moving forward, we really want to get hybrid learning right, and that is a key part of the technology that we're leveraging here. So I would say us moving forward, really getting hybrid learning correct and using that level of technology is something we're really focused in on doing right now.
So I want to stay on that technology format in the questions. I guess it's always an assumption that colleges are always highly technical, cutting edge on everything. Has it been that way at your college, or has it evolved? And then to go above that, do you have some ideas of where you think it's even going to go more than what it is today? I mean, I assume that your students can go from soup to nuts, if you will, on getting their degree online. So can you kind of speak to that? Kind of where were you? Were you always heavily technical? And then where do you see it going? I mean, is there things that are really crazy that you would love to do that you're not currently doing?
That's a great question. So I think one thing that we have begun to offer is short-term credentials and certificates online. So students that are not able to commit to a year or a 2-year program, and most of our programs are 1 year. They also can go to our site, and we offer short-term credentials and certificates, industry-based certificates. And so that's something that we're offering right now, which we're really excited about, and we're getting a really nice reception around it. And so if there is, again, just a short-term certificate you need to advance to that next level in your career, you can get that through us at pickenstech.org. So that's something that we're offering. We're really excited about that. And I think there's always a ton of technology that's in all of our programs. I mean, if you go to our motorcycle program, they're using cutting edge technology to make sure that those motorcycles are going to be whatever is the industry standard right now and what's the industry standard of tomorrow. So we know that electric vehicles is huge right now, and we are expecting tremendous growth over the next few years. So all of our motorcycle techs are trained on e-motorcycles. All of our auto technicians are trained on electric cars. And so that's something that we're always kind of integrating into all of our programs. Even in our horticulture program, we have students using tools that are based on solar power. So instead of it just being, gasoline based, now we have some tools in there that are solar based, because we know that's what students are going to be using when they graduate and they go into industry. So we're always trying to stay that 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead. And we also have something called an occupational advisory committee. So for each one of our programs has this occupational advisory committee, and those are experts in industry that are really working with the instructor to ensure that the curriculum and what they're doing in class here meets the demands of tomorrow. So we're always trying to stay a couple steps ahead with technology in the field.
Andrew, my son, I have a senior in high school. To say he's consumed with tuning and building car engines is a massive understatement. So I'm going to have him reach out to you. So
please. Have him reach out. In our auto program, it fills up quick. So definitely have him reach out. Let's make sure he goes through the process, he enrolls. But it's an incredible program, and I would argue we got some of the best auto instructors in the world. They've collectively have, over probably 100 years, have over 100 years of experience in the field, and have owned their own garages and businesses. And so definitely helping our students prepare for the workforce of tomorrow. That's for sure.
Well, perfect. That kind of is a good segue to my next question. We talked about technology, and you just talked about your instructors and how experienced and real world experienced they are. So, it's no secret we have a strange labor situation right now out there. So how do you use technology to coordinate with your people? Are you fully staffed? Talk about your labor and technology and the meeting there.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. So we are part of Aurora Public Schools. And so we actually do all of our hiring through Aurora Public Schools. So we use the same systems for hiring, for talent. And so we'll certainly use LinkedIn. Aurora Public Schools has their own platform that they use. So we post a job, people then go to apply for that job. But we're definitely trying to leverage technology as best we can, certainly to get the word out on any of our social media platforms, certainly LinkedIn, certainly Indeed. And so we're definitely trying to do whatever we can using technology to essentially attract the best candidates. And we also know that, word of mouth is also a great way to find some of the best employees. And really proud to say, I just think the school culture here, the staff culture here, I mean, it's kind of like one big family, to be totally honest with you. And so when a job does open, we've got a pretty wide network of people that will go and just put the word out that we're looking for a specific instructor or someone to help with any other position here at Pickens.
Andrew, this has been a great conversation. I wondered if you might have some time again here in the next couple of weeks to join us again where we can continue this conversation. Is that something you can do?
I'd love to, Chad. I really appreciate this converation. Would love to continue it.
Thank you.
Awesome.